Okay, so this is going to be part 1 of the colon worksheets. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with the second one here. And remember, when we're using a colon, if you are getting ready to list or say something, you use a colon, which is the dot, is those two things right there. A colon must always end in a period after it lists or states something. Okay, and you can usually stick the words in such as in replacement of the colon to make sure it sounds correct. Okay, so in this case, we're going to start with number 2 because this is a perfect use of a colon. Over time, I've gotten to know several of my co-working colleagues, colon, another website developer, comma, a graphic designer, comma, a freelance writer, comma, and several mobile app coders, period. That is a perfect use of a colon, and it's listing something. And if you want to stick the word such as in for the colon, it makes sense. Several of my co-working colleagues, such as another website developer, a graphic designer, a freelance writer. So it is a perfect use of a colon. Okay. Now, if we go down here, all of a sudden we see a semicolon. We know that the semicolon is not going to be the answer. So we're going to cross out those two nonsense answers. So now it's down to thaw and thaw being. Let's go with the kiss one and try that one first and stick the word such as in for it. So, believes that another factor added to the early thaw, such as the dark snow problem. Or believes that another factor added to the early thaw, such as being the dark snow problem. That doesn't make sense. It's too many words. So we're going to cross that out, and that's going to be the answer. Okay. So going down to the next one, again, we have a semicolon for an answer. We have a semicolon for the answer. That's not going to be the answer. So is it listing or stating something? And it ends in a period, and we can stick the word such as in there. So it took me by surprise then when my favorite exhibit at the museum was one of its tiniest, such as the Hawthorne miniature rooms. So which one was its tiniest? The Hawthorne miniature room. So it's answering the question. You're going to use a colon there. Okay. Then down here, they want to stick a transition word. Remember, we talked about we've been talking about transition words quite a bit. That's a transition word. This is a transition word. This is a transition word. And then there's just a blank one. Let's try just the blank one and see if it sounds okay. Her goals were straightforward, such as reduce waste, comma, maintain and perpetuate knowledge and skills, comma, and strengthen community, period. That's a perfect list. What we're going to do is just get rid of all those transaction words, keep it simple, and you're going to have that. Okay, turning over to the next one, last final one. Okay, so we see a dash in here. We can't start with a dash and end with a comma, so we know that's not going to make sense here. And we got another dash here, and inadvertently there. Okay, so that we're going to get rid of this dash one because that one just doesn't make sense. And we're going to get rid of this semicolon because that doesn't make sense either. So it's going to be between the colon and just nothing. So let's see if it works with the colon. Okay, today's researchers have found that the variable army of trained volunteers traveling the country conducting face-to-face interviews can sometimes be replaced by another army, such as the vast array of individuals volunteering details about their lives through social media, period. Okay, so what was the army? Another army, the vast array of individuals. So we're going to do that as a colon. Okay, it doesn't make sense. You got to have some kind of punctuation there. And the dash and the colon, or the dash and the comma doesn't make sense. The semicolon doesn't make sense. And the blank doesn't make sense. So it would have to be the colon. Okay, and we'll go on to part 2.